It's rare that I do a year recap of my life, but as I've been growing and following more of my heart's desires each and every day, documenting my life feels more important and fun now for some reason. Time has a different meaning to me than others, though. I've learned not to place so much importance on it, which really just frees me up to follow my heart more without fear. But in today's video context, I want to start sharing more of my personal journey, my self-reflections, hopes, dreams, and insights with you all. And doing a year in review feels like just the perfect opportunity to do exactly that. 2023 was a year of taking back power over my personal freedom and pursuing my passions more. I remember close to the start of the year telling a close friend of mine that if I achieved even one thing off of my long goals list that I had created earlier that year, that I would be satisfied. And I can actually say that I did. It was a year of rediscovering myself and creativity in a way that I had lost in previous years. A year of being more true to myself and a year of taking more risks in terms of not living the status quo, like many others on our planet had been conditioned to live. And so now, I'm living more in alignment with the real me, and I'm excited. So basically, 2023 has come to an end, and I'm super excited to share with you some of my insights that I've garnered along this past year, life lessons. So this year has definitely brought in about a lot of self-introspection, self-reflection, a bit of self-actualization, and I've learned a lot of things upon my human journey, and these are just some of the lessons that I've learned. The first lesson that I learned was you're never too old to do what you love to do. There's always a way, right? And I remember this lesson really started to sink in around August of this year. And it's something that I didn't even really know that I was struggling with, but ever since I was little, I remember always feeling like I was too old to do what I love to do. I remember even when I was like 7 wanting to be, I think I wanted to join Disney or something at that time, and I had my parents let me go audition for certain things and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, I'm too old, I'm 10 years old, all Disney people start when they're like 8 and 9, whatever. And I've always had this like feeling of being too old from what I desire to do, even when I was like, 17 or 18 or things like that, wanting to pursue modeling and stuff like that. I always had this feeling, this sort of like looming character in my life of always feeling like I'm behind in life, like, and it really didn't come to fruition or come to like my conscious mind that this had really been going on for literally my entire life until this past summer. And I had the opportunity to really self-reflect and uproot that belief and really look at it and just sort of, release it all together. So if you're ever at a point in your life and you feel like, oh my God, I'm so old to do what I want to do, whether you're 50 or 80 or whether you're 10 or 12 or 20 or 30, it doesn't really matter. Go after what you love to do. There's always a way to pursue what you love to do. One of the movies that I like that really represents this, that I watched earlier this year, was this K-drama called Navileta. And it was about this, I think, 70-something-year-old man or 80-year-old man who had always wanted to pursue ballet. And he never really got the chance because in his culture and in his society and just where he was and his economic status, he didn't really have the luxury of being able to study ballet. And so he went back and started studying with a famous ballet dancer, or up-and-coming famous ballet dancer, to learn the craft of being a ballet dancer. And he got to actualize his dream of like being able to perform on stage and, you know, follow his heart even before like he went into getting dementia. Not to give the whole story away, but it was like this beautiful story of like, you're never too old to really pursue what you really want to do, you know? And so go after what you want. That was definitely the life lesson, a huge life lesson that I learned. Another life lesson that I learned was that even though we're all interdependent and connected to one another in some way, form, or fashion, you actually don't need other people's opinions or validation in order to do what you love to do. So this sort of outward validation seeking, and really that fell away a long time ago, but it definitely became more solidified within me and my life experience this year for sure. So you don't really need other people to validate or approve of you or your life choices. We're each uniquely divine. We're each unique souls having this human experience, and we each come here with our own blueprints and our own unique gifts and things to explore. And so trying to follow other people's cookie cutter blueprint or idea of what success is never really leads to fulfillment, joy, or happiness, because we're not in alignment with who our soul has called us to be. So that life lesson has definitely really sunk in for me this year. And I'm excited that it's sunk in, and I'm really pursuing more of what I love to do. Another lesson that really grounded in my experience was following your heart rather than only chasing after external goals is way more fulfilling. So, and it's a much more freer way to live. So doing what you love to do and expecting abundance to show up as a result is the way that I've been starting to anchor in the way that I live on a day-to-day basis, right? It's not always easy. It's definitely something I'm still learning and anchoring into my experience, but following your heart and doing what you love to do, even in the face of adversity, even in the face of contrast, or even in the face of, you know, challenging life situations, is so much more fulfilling than doing what is expected of you or doing what other people say you should do. Always listening to your inner guidance. You can take people's advice and opinions with a grain of salt and, you know, self-reflection and stuff like that for growth, but always tune into your heart and your soul. And that's been definitely anchoring into my life in a deeper way. Another lesson that I learned was it's okay to put yourself first and not put up with disrespect or toxic behavior. You deserve love, compassion, and kindness, and it's not selfish. It's actually your birthright. So in our society where, you know, it depends on what kind of culture you grew up in. If you grew up in a westernized culture, individualism is definitely more accepted over here. But if you grew up in, you know, sort of East Indian or Eastern type of, not Indian, but Eastern traditions and stuff where like the group energy is more important, or like I grew up in a Caribbean family where family was super important and stuff. You know, there's sort of like this underlying sort of belief in that structure that you just put up with, you know, whatever behavior because it's family or because this is what you do and stuff like that. And one of the things that I had to anchor in within my experience and just within my own life was that it doesn't matter who it is, whether you're blood or not. You don't deserve to be disrespected. You don't deserve to be abused in any way, form, or fashion, whether mentally or emotionally or physically, because you're a divine being, and you don't have to accept that no matter who it is, you know. And you have a choice to relinquish that and hold yourself to a higher standard and hold others around you to a higher standard in the way that in which they treat you, right? So if you love yourself, if you enjoy your own company, if you appreciate your gifts and what you bring to the table, then others will start to do that. And people who don't, they just sort of dissipate from your experience, or you can actively remove them from your life, right? And it's okay to do that. You're not wrong in putting yourself first. You're not wrong in treating yourself with love and kindness and compassion. Those should be the basis of all relationships, really. So that has really anchored into my life experience this year. And this definitely was a huge life lesson for sure. Another one that was kind of related to that was forgiveness. Is recognizing that even in the face of wrongdoing, you and the other individual involved are still divine, even if you're playing the little skit as though you're not. So forgiveness comes from this idea that, you know, people have done you wrong, and in the wrongdoing, you know, you have to, you know, relinquish the negative charge around it, because if you don't, you know, you'll end up carrying a lot of stress and burdens and stuff like that. And so forgiveness is recognizing once you've healed a lot of the energy and the charge and the emotional, hurt, wounds and stuff like that, and trauma and triggers, then you start to move into the powerful state of forgiveness, of just recognizing that we're all divine beings and we're just playing this little skit called life, and this is all temporary and eventually we'll return back to being spirit beings that we truly are, right? And a spin-off of that life lesson was also, forgiveness doesn't mean that you have to forget the wrongdoing. It just means that you let go of the emotional charge so that you are no longer triggered by it, others, or yourself. If the forgiveness is forgiving yourself for choices that you've made, right? So forgiveness doesn't mean that you forget, and it doesn't mean that you hold it over other people's heads. It just means that you let go of the emotional charge and allow people to be as they are. You don't need people to be a certain way in your experience, in terms of they need to show up this way in order for you to be happy, right? If they show up in a certain way and it's unacceptable with your standards of love, kindness, compassion, and understanding, then you can relinquish that person and let them go play on whatever playground they want to play on, right? But forgiveness is just recognizing that you don't have to carry the burdens of wrongdoings or sins or missing the mark, right? That happens in relationships, in relationship with yourself and relationships with others. So that was a huge lesson, right? I even wrote a song about it, and I plan on releasing it in 2024. It's called Forgiveness. So hopefully that'll be coming to your ears soon. But forgiveness was a huge lesson that I learned this year as well. Another lesson off of that was, give people space to be themselves, whether that's a part of your life or not. You will always be okay. AKA, don't attach yourself to others, because life is really temporary. This was a really challenging lesson that I really started to grok and came online for me around my birthday of this year, and just recognizing that attachment really does not equal love, right? And it's often the root of all misery, right? Attachment and expectation is not the same thing. So when I'm talking about attachment, a lot of times people say, well, you need to be attached in order to love someone. Not really. You can love someone from afar. You don't need to have them. You don't have to possess them. Attachment is not possession, right? We often think that, love is possession or holding on to something. And it really isn't. Like, attachment just really breeds a lot of, not contempt, but just a lot of misery and suffering. Inward suffering, mental and emotional suffering that's kind of not necessary, right? That doesn't mean that you let go of your standards of how you expect people to treat you, right? Like, you expect people to come to you with a certain level of, modicum of respect and honoring and stuff like that. But attachment, you don't need to attach yourselves to other individuals, right? It's not love. And when you do that, you give people the space to be themselves and to make mistakes and to grow and to be the witness of their lives and be a loving presence rather than a judgmental figure in their lives. And you stop judging yourself as well, and you give yourself the grace to grow and evolve in the way that you're here to grow and evolve, right? So that was a huge lesson for me this year as well. And the last two major lessons that really hit home for me was mental and emotional fear, overwhelm, and worry when it's not from a place of life or death is a choice. And freedom is always available to us now. So a lot of times we're so programmed to believe that we have to respond and react to life events from a place of fear, from a place of lack and scarcity. And really those are just choices and conditioned ways of responding. Most of us don't really have a blueprint or examples in our lives growing up where, our parents or our adults that we watched growing up had a loving or compassionate response to life events when things went awry, when things didn't go as planned, right? And those are really often choices, and a lot of times it just comes down to the meanings that we give life experiences, right? When things don't go according to plan, or things go wrong, or people treat you a certain way, you can always give it a different meaning, or you can address the situation and address it with more justice, love, and balance. Or you could, give it just different meanings that allow you to experience the life experience in a different way. So when we're choosing emotional fear, turmoil, overwhelm, and worry, it really is a choice. Most of the time it's unconscious, but you can start to reprogram yourself in a way to where you no longer experience life from this place of fear anymore, right? That, crap happens, you get upset, people frustrate you, things don't go as planned. But you depends on how long do you really want to stay there. And that for me has really rapidly changed, right? I no longer stay in mental or emotional misery for more than like 30 minutes ever. Like, so things might piss me off in the moment, right? I might cuss and carry on for like, 10 minutes, depending on how deep the issue is, right? But after, 5, 10, 30 minutes at most, I'm back to my peace level loving self, because it's just a preferred way of being. I know that I don't have to struggle or strain in order to allow more of what I desire, and I recognize that maybe my perception needs healing, or something needs to be adjusted outwardly, or things need to be shifted, and that's okay, and that's a part of life's journey, right? So that's another huge lesson that I learned. And then the last one is to be kind and compassionate with yourself. No matter where you are, what you've done, redemption and self-love are always available, and you can always make new choices. This applies to you having the same grace with others, right? So when you have kindness and compassion with yourself, no matter what you've done, the choices, past choices that you've made, redemption in the sense that you always have the ability to make new choices starting today, starting now, right? You don't have to be a victim of past experiences, past choices, past life events, right? Everything is always now, and you can move forward with that knowing and power that you can become self-aware, and you can start making better choices that is more in alignment with who you are. You don't have to be bombarded or bogged down by the energy of, past choices or mistakes or other people's choices or opinions or whatever, right? Having self-love and compassion is really the basis of allowing all that you desire to start to flourish, because you give yourself the grace and the fortitude to continue moving towards what you love to do bit by bit, and you don't berate yourself for, the mistakes or the fumblings or the fallings or, misgivings that might happen along the journey. You recognize that that's a part of the game and part of the play, and you can just move forward in life, right? So those are the really huge major life lessons that I've learned this year in 2023. I really love to know, what are some major life lessons that you've learned? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed these lessons, definitely give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more videos moving forward. So what all did I achieve in 2023? Let's dive in. So I achieved some pretty major things, considering I had been out of commission in terms of following my heart for a while. I got to perform at a festival and a lot of other places, local places in Atlanta, Georgia, live with my music, my own music, and also singing cover songs and stuff like that. So that was really fun. I also got to be more visible and also work with other creatives and singer-songwriters and help coach them as well. And I also worked on my music and just recording new songs and rehearsing and getting out of my shell and working with other musicians. That was so much fun. I also started to just follow my heart more and just share my gifts with others and come out of hermit mode. I took some creative and business courses. I started drawing more and sharing some of my artwork on my social media channels. I started going out more as well and started to do more creative endeavors and be nourished in the sense of being nourished by other creatives and seeing what they were doing. So that was super fun for me as well. Got to go to the symphony orchestra and just really feed and nurture my creative soul more than I had been doing in previous years. So 2023 overall has been a whirlwind of experiences, and actually doing this video has helped me to really reflect and see how much I actually did accomplish this year, because sometimes you kind of get caught up in the hustle and bustle of life and you actually forget what you've done. And so doing this video actually helped me to see that I've actually accomplished a lot, and I'm so looking forward to what I'm going to accomplish more coming in the future, hanging out with more friends and family and growing my businesses and just being more of my true authentic self while in this human form. So that was 2023 for me. Welcome to my living room. This is fun, recording myself. So 2024, let's go. Open the door to 2024. Open the door to 2024. So, what am I looking forward to? So as an artist and creative and all that stuff, my goal is to become growing and expanding my fan base this year. So just having more like-minded people and building a community around not only my artwork and my music and all the things that I do creatively, but also growing a like-minded community where there's a safe space and sacredness to being able to share your art and it being received well and it creating a ripple effect and it causing more healing and all that good stuff. So that's one thing that I'm really looking forward to this year, growing this channel as well. At the time of recording, I think I have 373 subscribers. So this will be a great chronicle to see where I'm at a year from now. And then another thing that I'm looking forward to this year is becoming a part-time artist with a full-time income. So not just growing my fan base, but like making this a full-time income opportunity, right? Being an artist and being able to claim that. This past year I was able to do a lot more of that. I was able to supplement my income with my artistic endeavors, and I'd like to continue growing that as well in 2024. Another thing that I'm looking forward to this year is implementing way more, right? Creating way more, releasing more, sharing more ideas. I have so many creative ideas that I'm literally just sitting on, and I'm going to be challenging myself this year to create more and just show up more online. So I'm always creating and doing things behind the scenes, but it's not, I haven't really been sharing as much as I could be with the amount of creativity that comes through me. Like I'm highly prolific, and not to like toot my own horn, but like in the sense of if you looked at my diary and my journals and you know my computer and the hard drives and all the stuff that I have created that I have yet to release, my goal this year is to actually not only create and implement, but actually share more as well. And then executing on my ideas, right? When I receive divine downloads and just following through on the intuitive nudges and hits that I get, I'm looking forward to experiencing that more. And I'm also looking forward to traveling more and spending more time with people that bring me joy and that contribute to my joy, love, and expansion and growth, right? In a positive way and more creative, you know. I'm not really looking forward to collaborations this year as much as I just want to get my stuff off the ground. If collaborations happen, great, but I have so much stuff within myself that I want to get off the ground first before I start focusing in on collaborations. So this year is really dedicated to just really kind of bringing to life my own innovative ideas and things that I've been sitting on for years, right? So implementing more this year in 2024. And then I have also another business that I'm growing simultaneously while sharing on this channel. So I'm looking forward to growing that business as well. So those are the main things that I'm looking forward to doing this year. I have more specific goals in terms of like numeric things and stuff like that. But what's more important to me this year is creating systems around the goal, right? Instead of saying, oh, I'm going to release, you know, an album this year or this project. I think for me, because I'm shifting and changing my habits more to support more of my creative endeavors, saying that I'm going to do something every week or do this every week is more attainable than me saying, oh, I'm going to put out an album or I'm going to drop of this, because I was looking at some of my goals for 2023 and I wrote some of those down, and I recognize that it feels too big when I say it like that. But if I'm like, oh, I'm going to, you know, work on this song this week and I'm going to release this song and then I'm going to work on another song next week and then release that song, or you know, whatever, like that is way more attainable to me and like easier to digest than saying, oh, I'm going to release an album or I'm going to shoot a short film or I'm going to, you know what I mean? Like I'm just really chunking down my intentions and goals this year. And you know, the inspiration for that was I've been listening to the audiobook Atomic Habits, and so that's really been, you know, helping me out a lot, and just kind of looking at some of my old, you know, productivity things that I used to utilize a lot and being able to, you know, move forward with. So I'm excited about 2024. Let me know in the comments below what you're excited about bringing more into your life, what you plan on manifesting, what you plan on actualizing or experiencing or expanding more into. Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your journey, and feel free to share your insights below as well. So it's your turn. Let me know in the comments below what you're looking forward to in 2024. What are you looking forward to experiencing, receiving, and achieving in 2024? And if you like this video, definitely give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more content. Feel free to join my community in the first link in the description box below. In that link, you'll get free music from me, free insights where I share a weekly newsletter and all that good stuff, and share some of my creative journey as a mosaic soul. See you guys when I see you next. Peace, love, and light. Thanks so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, then please give it a like and subscribe if you haven't already for more videos about my life, creativity, spirituality, and personal development. I'll see you in the next one. Peace, love, and light.